Well, next week, the fate of former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is expected to be handed over to jurors who have listened to testimony now for 3 months. But we've been here before, have we not? 4 of the state's last 11 governors and nearly 40 Chicago aldermen in the last half-century have served time in prison. We don't know how it's going to turn out for Mike Madigan. We will see. So how can we rescue our state from continuing down a road of corruption? Austin Berg from the Illinois Policy Institute joins me now. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. How much is corruption costing Illinois taxpayers?
Well, the cost, there's really two parts of this cost. The first is economic. And our research shows that corruption, this is just illegal corruption. This is not counting corruption that is legal under the law, is costing the state economy about $500 million with a B dollars a year. That's the first cost. And the second cost is just this incredible erosion in the trust in government. We see public polling data show that Illinois residents have the least trust in their state government of residents of any other state compared to those other states. So there's sort of a moral cost as well.
After the impeachment of former Governor Rod Blagojevich, state legislators passed ethics reform legislation. But get this, elected officials were themselves exempt. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, the system we have in Springfield right now is sort of one of the fox guarding the hen house. And I'd like to say that if federal corruption convictions, like the one we may see with Speaker Madigan, actually fought corruption, Illinois would be the least corrupt state in the nation. But in fact, the data show that we are having, on average, more than 1 public corruption conviction per week for the last 40 years. And that's because of these rules in Springfield where the fox is guarding the hen house. For example, the laws say that you should not vote on a bill if you have a conflict of interest. Those rules still rely on the honor system for enforcement. The legislative inspector general, the person in charge of investigating corruption in the state house, they have to go to a committee of lawmakers before they issue a subpoena or issue a report on corruption. And there are really almost no limits also stopping the revolving door from lawmaker to lobbyist in Springfield. So these are just a few examples of how we need to change the system, not just rely on the federal government to come in and make indictments.
And to your point, the woman hired to be the legislative inspector general, whose job it was to recommend steps to stop corruption, resigned under Governor Pritzker because she felt like, as you just explained, there just wasn't any teeth with the current ethics reform. Last question for you. What can we do to make our state more ethical? Because I think a lot of people here in the state, we feel helpless, you know, but is there something we can do?
Absolutely. So for one, when we see these headline-grabbing corruption indictments like we see with Speaker Madigan, it's important for people to remember that isn't enough to stop corruption. You need to contact your state lawmaker. You need to contact Governor Pritzker and the House Speaker and the Senate President and tell them we need real ethics reform. Tell them we can't rely on the honor system anymore. Tell them we need an inspector general with teeth. We cannot just rely on convictions to stop corruption.
All right. Thanks so much, Austin, for your time this morning. Maybe this time it'll work.
Thank you.